Abdul Alim, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Tell you what, let's dive straight in and we'll get started with something really spicy. What is the number one biggest mistake that you see when it comes to building a SaaS business that nobody ever talks about?
Wow, I mean, there's a whole lot of mistakes, and the single biggest one is waiting for your product to be completed. This is a cardinal sin. I mean, I met with a guy. It's about a year and a half ago at an event. I said, "Hey, bro, what are you building?" Because I'm building this exchange, which is a centralized exchange and also a decentralized exchange and also a peer-to-peer exchange. I'm like, when are you launching? Because maybe in about 6 months. I'm like, wow, I thought, wow, 6 months is a long time to launch something. Because for me, it's like 2 months is maximum. Like, build something that launches in 2 months. So then I said, like, how long have you been building for? It's been 3 years. And I was like, wow, you've been building for 3 years? Because, yeah, but the market keeps moving and we have to keep on building features and it takes us time to build. And I think it's not the way to look at things. Is you don't build as a startup. You are not the feature-rich company. You can't look at someone like Zoho and say, we're going to build all these features, or HubSpot and build all these features. Your job is to find the one thing that they are overlooking or neglecting and build that 1% and offer that as a standalone product. And even when you offer it as a standalone product, continue to cut the fat off it until you got something that can be built within a couple of months. Because what I find is, like, from day one, they'll say, well, we're going to build this SaaS and we're going to determine our pricing and we're going to, have all these features, and then we're going to integrate our payments and our Stripe and PayPal, and we're going to have don't do any of that. Don't even build the payments integration. Like don't do anything that doesn't need to be built for the customer to use it. That's it. Is can they use it? And that's all you need to think about is forget about the payments, forget about every single thing. The payments is an afterthought. If you get popular, if you get busy, if you're getting clients signing up for you, you know what? 2 more weeks and you'll have payments. I just sat with a guy actually about 4 days ago, and he spent 1.5 years building the wireframe in Figma. The wireframe in Figma, 1.5 years. And I was like, my mind was like exploding. I was like, you need to figure out what's the problem you are solving and solve just the one problem. For example, he's like, oh, here's the like button, here's the comment button, here's the share button. I'm like, does any of those things stop your clients from using it? Like, no, it doesn't. So you have to be brutal. You're going to be so brutal when it comes to cutting off the fat. Because when you say, well, it's just a comment button. So I said to him, to you, it looks like just a comment button. For a developer, it's like, okay, I've got to now make sure that that comment button can be clicked, can be opened, has an input box, can be validated, can be pushed to the server, has the API available, has the database storage space available, has the filtering available, has the moderation available. You're just thinking it's a button. But you've added 2 more weeks to development work. And every time you add 1 more button, it's another 2 weeks. And this is the mistake they make. Like, well, this is necessary because somebody else have it. Like, screw everybody else. Like, really screw. Build the one simple need that your product has, because what you can do then is push it to the marketplace and get the feedback. Let people use it. Don't even put a price on it. Every single thing that you launch should start for free. And the reason why is because by adding pricing, the first thing you do is you add a barrier to entry. You tell people, well, you can't have this because you're going to have to pay this much. See everything you do as a marketing cost. Don't say, well, I have got to pay for the service and I've got to pay for staff. Yeah, this is great, you have to, but you have to give something of value to somebody. And if you try and charge them, the first thing you do is like, well, now there's this mental block in that person's mind. So, well, I'm not going to start using it because I might have to pay for it. Or, you know what, this price looks too high. Or, you know what, it looks too low and it looks scammy. Don't put a price to it. The world knows about freemium offers. Give it for free and let them use it. Let them get addicted. Let them enjoy it at your expense. Let them screw you. Use it so it costs me my API credits for email or my API credits for my chat GPT or let them use it. Let them use it. See it as your marketing cost. This is your acquisition cost. So don't put all these barriers and don't look for a perfect product. Launch fast, launch ugly, and launch to as many people as you possibly can. Your job is to find customers, not just build a perfect product. Building the perfect product is a continual process. It never ends. It never stops. So give something. And when you think that, you know what, this is the MVP, you're wrong. You can cut more of it out and more and more and more until you have to think, holy shit, this is so crap. I've got to keep on refining it. But you have to get it live on the web. Because when you do, there's a few things that happens. Number one is you get indexed by Google, which is great. Like I can at least get my site indexed so I can at least start building some authority. Okay, now I can start sharing it and people can tell me how bad it is, but at least in the back of their mind, they know that there's a product that solves this problem. And you have to realize this, it doesn't matter if solutions exist with this problem. Like for example, let me give you a quick example. Remove.bg, background removal tool. Okay, everybody's got an illegal copy of Photoshop. Everyone can remove backgrounds on an image, but that's just one of 1,000 features in Photoshop. And how did remove.bg get acquired for a very large undisclosed sum by Canva? Because it just did one thing really well, and it doesn't do anything else. That's it. When somebody's building a product, well, what if we want to get them to change the background and make it a circular, make it a crop, and make it high resolution, and add the... No, like, look at the things, solve a problem.
Hey, it's Ryan here. I'm glad you're enjoying the video. Listen, if you want to meet me or some of the people that I interview, you should really join the StartupSauce SaaS founder community. It's a private Slack group for SaaS founders based outside of Silicon Valley who are past the idea stage and want to focus on growth. About 30% of our members are doing over $1 million a year in revenue, so it's a pretty high caliber group. You'll get access to regular mastermind calls and workshops, and every week we share exclusive marketing tactics and resources that you can use to grow your business faster. So, if you want to give yourself an unfair advantage and learn from other SaaS founders who are 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, head over to startupsauce.com and sign up. I think there's a link in the description down below as well. Anyway, I'll see you in there.
You have to get to market first. It's not about building fully fledged products. Get to market as quickly as possible. And then while you're in the market, refine. Otherwise, if you build a fully fledged product, then where's your news? You're not going to have any more news to publish. So use that as an opportunity for press releases to tell people you've added something new. So like take all the features, cut them all the way down to less than 10%, build that. And even while you're doing this, cut the fat off and cut every single unnecessary fat. Payments integration, payment pages, all these things. Just get to the core of the product and let people use it. If they say, wow, this is brilliant, then you've got a product. If they're not going to check your pricing page and they're not going to see everything else, if there's something of value and it does something, they will say, wow, I need this. But if they don't need it, then it doesn't matter how many pages you make, people won't use it. And then, so that's the first cardinal mistake I think people make is building too much too early. And second one, it's actually critically important, is they don't leave it out in the wild long enough. If after the first month, like, oh, I've not made any money, I see the complaints on the SaaS groups and forums, like, oh, I spent 9 months building this and I released it a month ago and I'm not a billionaire yet. And it's like, it's not going to happen. Your job isn't like, I want to make revenue as quickly as possible. I mean, that's the dream. And you will do if your product is really timely and you're capitalizing on this massive need that no one's seen, or there's a massive hype or a buzz or a vibe around a certain thing, and you can get to people quickly, yes, you can get to revenue. But most of the time, it's the boring businesses that last the longest. Like for example, people who are building things using ChatGPT, clones of ChatGPT. Some of them skyrocketed, made money. Other ones have built and made nothing at all. Don't try and just run with the hype and the fad. Is build something that is necessary for people. Because if somebody signs up for 2 months and then cancels, then there's no value in it. You want people to be so addicted on a long term. And I think like Dropbox did it best. they give you a set and forget product. You just, once you've got it, you try it, it's free. Once you've tried it, you're using it, it's hard to then, the attrition rates are very small, and then you just continue paying for it because you're lazy. Human beings are innately lazy. Just let the laziness make the payment. So there we are. So is build small, build hyper targeted, find the people, and don't expect revenue from day one unless you're building something that is following some the hype train, but build something that is of value, because then that way you know that as you're building slowly and adding people slowly, your greatest measurement is your attrition rate. And the attrition rate, meaning it's the dropout rate. It's how many people are canceling. Because if you have a product where your people are canceling fast, then you have to have the same number of people signing up and paying for you to at least sustain your revenues. Forget growth, just sustainability becomes a massive challenge at a certain point in time. If you're losing 200 people a month, now you've got to acquire 200 just to break even. And that's not calculating even your acquisition cost. But if you calculate your acquisition cost as well, then you've got to do double that to break even. So there we have it. So it's build fast, launch dirty, be embarrassed, let people use it. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about the spacing, the fonts, the colors. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, people spend so much time making the logo. Nobody cares about your logo. Nobody cares about you. All they care about is WIIFM. What's in it for me? And if there's something in it for me, I'm going to use your product. I don't care who you are. If you give me something crap, I'm not going to use it. It's like Microsoft and Skype. Like they had the market cornered, and then they just let people like WhatsApp destroy them completely. You just didn't move in the right direction fast enough. You added too many barriers to entry. I remember I had like 3 logins for Skype. Every time I logged in, I'm like, I can't even remember the login, and it's not even sending me a password. I've got to make another account and then pay again. So absolutely, just take the friction away. Friction is your enemy. Take the friction away. Let people use it. Like I built a site a couple of weeks ago. I had one need, and the only need was people were uploading photographs and they didn't know how to crop it exactly 1920 by 1080 pixels. So I just built a quick service called image-resize.com. It just allows people to upload an image and then crop it for the exact size for TVs. That's it. It's just a cropping service for digital signage. And again, we just posted it on a Reddit group, and there's about 7 to 8 people are using it continuously for cropping their images. Again, it's completely free. Like, I've not even thought about what's the pricing, what's the monetization. Let them use it. So let them continue using it, because there's always a way to monetize. So skip the monetization, but understand the value of what you're building, because nothing happens until somebody starts using your product. You can have I've seen some amazing looking websites like this. A friend launched something quite a while ago. He spent months with developers building the Chrome plugin, the Workspace plugin, the website itself, and the AI integration. And I was like, wow, like this looks brilliant. Like, how many people do you have using it? It's like, oh, none yet. Like, it's like, find who the people are that will use it. Take the barrier of entry so low that it becomes a no-brainer, and let them use it. Handhold. I think Reid Hoffman says it really well. It's your first 50 clients. Handhold them all the way through the process. Don't just say, oh, well, it's completely self-service. Actually, as soon as they enter any piece of information, your job is to go back, talk to them, get their information, put them on the platform, guide them through using it, and get those raving fans loving it. You'd rather have 100 people love your product than 1,000 people just like it, because those will drop out. Those will be your acquisition cost. So find the people that really need the product and handhold them all the way through. I remember we used to get on call. Imagine a client who's paying us nothing, zero. It's a free product. And we're saying to them, we'll get on a Zoom call with you and we'll teach you how to use it. And they just couldn't understand, like, what's the value for you? The value for us was actually getting someone to use it. So our cost was, okay, let's spend that time, effort, energy, blood, sweat, and tears to get people to at least tell us, are you using it? And if so, which bits are you using? And by the way, Hotjar is amazing for this. You can implement Hotjar and see where all the clicks are coming in and how they're scrolling and all those things. and then figure out what is it actually like. And here's the problem you're going to face is people will tell you not what they're actually doing, because people in their mind are doing one things, their mouths are doing something else, and their outcome is another thing, but nothing is being captured because people are oblivious to things that they do. They're totally oblivious to and it's amazing because the only thing, like if for example, if you say to your family and friends, I'm building this thing, will you guys buy it? This is a good idea. Everyone's like, yeah, this is an amazing idea. The people that love you tell you, oh, this is an amazing idea. Wow, you're gonna be a billionaire. And the people that don't like you will just say, whatever it is you're building, it's gonna fail. So you can't trust the opinion of anybody. You just have to build and give it to the people that matter, and onboard them and hold their hands. And Reid Hoffman says, do the things that don't scale. And the things that don't scale is what Airbnb did when they went to the homes of their Airbnb hosts and sent a photographer to take the pictures, take professional pictures, the things that you can't do for every single, but do the things that don't scale, because it allows you to capture that first set of customers, because then you stimulate those people to talk about your product, to tell people then and I found that people then move jobs and they use the same service when they move jobs. So it takes time. Everything takes time. So it's the revenue in 1 month is a dream that everybody wants. Even if you make $1 in a month, it's great. But don't focus on the dollars. Focus on the value that you're giving people. And once they start using it, like, my goodness, like, then the world is your oyster. Canvas users, mostly free users, until you slowly get onto it. I mean, look at Gmail. Gmail is now a humongous revenue generator. What was Gmail? 15 gigabytes for free when Hotmail was giving you like 2 megabytes. So they came in, they blew the competition. Nothing remarkable. Just use it.
I've got a mentor who calls something the law of shitty service. So we've become so accustomed to, if we sign up for something, it's going to break. There's going to be a hidden catch. There's going to be something that doesn't work, or feels not quite right. And when you start using a service and the CEO gets on a call and they want to find out about your business and they want to talk to you and they want to help you out, it's like, or they want to send a photographer out to your home to take professional grade photos. It's like that experience blows your mind, because you're expecting it just to be, really hard and really difficult, and it's never going to live up to expectations, because that's what everything else is like. And he says that, like, as a startup, like, you can't do that when you've got thousands of customers, but you can when you've got 10 or 15 or 20. So that's a massive competitive advantage early on. And then that, like you said, that's what gets you the raving fans who will go and tell other people, who are going to be the loyal users who stick around with it. And that's how you build it as a startup. I love that. Let's change tack a little bit. I think for anyone who hasn't met you before, can you introduce yourself a little bit? You run a few different businesses. What are they, and how much revenue are they generating currently?
So look, so one of the first, we'll go all the way back. By the way, so by profession, I'm a techie. So I built things like London's congestion charging platform. I built a BBC TV licensing payment system. So I come from a very, very large scale, high availability type of platform. So I'm not in sales or marketing. I'm a pure tech dude. One of the most earliest products I built was actually an internet service. When I was 19, I then sold that for $6 million when I was 23. So that was my first SaaS business. that was amazing.
Fist bump for you, sir.
And I'll tell you the stories, because every single experience teaches you something different about scaling. So I continued. I've got PosterBooking.com, which is a SaaS platform for digital signage. We have TeakPay.com, which is basically just recently launched, which is a payment service. I have what's called Doctor.com, which is a service for appointment booking for doctors. I have WVM.ai, which is a web hosting service. I have WhatBlast.com, which is a WhatsApp mass messaging platform, which bypasses basically Facebook's APIs to do direct messaging, because people want to WhatsApp and Facebook makes it tremendously difficult to mass WhatsApp, and this method makes it easier. Monthly Stuff launched yesterday. We had 2 signups, by the way. We have 2 developers on there. So we launched that yesterday. There's other ones there's tomorrowsweather.org, and the reason why I launched tomorrowsweather.org is because I thought, okay, what are people searching for? And it was amazing because people don't look for today's weather, they look for tomorrow's weather. And there was no website specifically for tomorrow's weather. So if you go to tomorrowsweather.org, it just takes your IP address and gives you the weather where you are for tomorrow. And it's got no adverts or anything like this because it's designed to be a widget inside the signage platform that we have. And obviously, the reason why it's got no ads is because we want other competitors to use and their clients to use the same platform. And I'll tell you why the reason why we want our competitors, customers, to use a free platform that we're paying for is because we want to take their customers eventually. And there are these ones. What else is there? I think that's probably about it. And there's loads in the pipeline. There's one for following your journey using your longitude and latitude on your photos, so that photographers can publish the exact place where they took a photo, so other people can follow them and go to the exact place. Because you find like people on Instagram, photographers continue asking other photographers, like, where did you take this photo? Because the composition and the sunset and where you're sat is amazing. So they got to manually message. But if you just had similar to Instagram, but it gave you the location, the pin of exactly where it was taken, the aperture, then they asked you like, but what was the aperture? What was the lens? What was the shutter speed? What was the EV? What was the ISO? And all that information is actually stripped away by Instagram for privacy, which is great for the ordinary person. But for a photographer, it's like, well, I need that information for me to be able to recreate these photographs, because they're always asking you like what's the lens that you used and what was the shutter speed, because that gives you the composition or the actual way these photos come out. So it's another project that's launching at the moment, that's being developed. And actually we're trialing out Bubble for this. We're trying to see whether Bubble works as a SaaS building platform. And if it does, that means, it'll be great if it does, because it'll just cut down development work. Because when you're building any product, you need the designer, you need the front-end guy, you need the back-end guy, you need the database guy, depending on the complexity of the database. Then you need a DevOps guy as well. So you've got 5 people to try and build a product. And here Bubble takes, I guess, that down to 1 or 2 people, which is very interesting. So let's just see how that goes. We'll have an MVP within a couple of weeks and see where that goes to. And there's various businesses, but my first business actually was an interesting one, which was an internet service. It was 1999, 2000 almost. A SaaS business didn't exist at that point. The terminology didn't exist. So we offered almost a physical service for a monthly payment, and I grew that to about 500,000 in revenues per month. And it was, and I had to do growth hacking before even growth hacking was a term. And we were, Google was very, very early at that time as well. So we'd get up, search engine optimization was great. But here's how I grew that business, and I'll tell you the story. So we're offering internet services for £7.99 in the UK. Our competitor BT and AOL were offering at £15.99. So, and look, marketing isn't just about, I want to be at top of the search engines. You have to think outside the box. So I created an alias on my Yahoo, because Yahoo email was a thing at that time, and I called myself Paul Drudgett. Paul was actually the first name on a colleague at work, and I contacted Martin Lewis, who is the money-saving expert in the UK. So, okay, we've got a service that, it's an internet service, but one of the core features is it's half the price. So, okay, let's contact people who are talking about cheap stuff. So I contact Martin Lewis, send him an email saying, hey, Martin, have you seen this website? It's half the price of a BT and AOL. So Martin sent me an email about that. Oh, it's fantastic. And do you have any more information about it? Also, here it is. So I pretended to be a customer of the service. Because if you blow your own trumpet, nobody will take you seriously. If somebody else says something nice about you, it's taken as fact, because you have nothing to gain from this. If I say, I'm the best basketballer, everyone's like, well, no, you're probably not. If somebody else says, you know what, Abdul's great at basketball, they're like, oh, really, is he? So it's that psychological, it's a referral in essence. So we had then Martin publish a double page spread in the UK's biggest newspaper, which is the Sunday Times, in the middle of the paper saying, here's BT, here's AOL, and here's Geo Internet. Imagine, it's like a $3 or $4 million worth of advertising with just one email. Because it came from somebody else, and it was aligned with that. And it was in the papers. And then look, we did. I wrote on that, and then we had there was a companies called there was Net for Now, and there was Broadband ADSL Guide, and all these things. And I just created accounts for their forums and started and scripted using Python conversation inside their forums. And then they said, "Oh, we want to test your internet service, see how fast it is." So I gave them a phone number, because we used to use phone numbers. There was no broadband. There was you had to call a phone number to get internet access. So I gave them a phone number which had no other users on it. So we'd be the fastest internet service every single month because there was nobody else on that service. So you have to be a little bit more creative when it comes to marketing, because you can't just try and align yourselves with everybody and run the same race. Because if you don't have an unfair advantage, then you massively increasing your acquisition costs. So it's a little bit cheeky. And again, then they had competitions. You had to vote for the best internet service. And obviously, what happened is run a number of proxy servers and voted for myself. We went to the top of Net for Now's guide. Don't think they were too happy. I think they found out eventually. But it was too late because we had grown. And by the way, and if you look at this is very, very cheeky. It's growth hacking. It's a little bit, under the table, but look at what Airbnb did. They launched about 3 times, each time not successful. And then they were like, okay, it looks like the rallies that presidents or upcoming presidents do are very, very popular. So we need to get to people who are searching for bed and breakfast. But where were people searching? They weren't searching on Google. They were searching on Craigslist. So what did they do? The photographs for them worked, but they actually used Python to script 1 million listings of Airbnb on Craigslist website without paying them a cent. And that's what made them successful. It wasn't anything else. It was they were able to appear on every single category on Craigslist with an available apartment at that point in time in that city when people were searching for it. And it just took a chunk of the Craigslist visitors to Airbnb, and then Airbnb became a thing. Because before Airbnb, people just used to look for bed and breakfast, hotels and bed and breakfast in a city hosted by people in Craigslist. It was a category for them. So you have to think about how can I get people to sign up for my services without me spending an arm and a leg? Because Google Ads are amazing. You can get people trying your services out. But as soon as you start scaling Google Ads, it becomes extremely costly. Also, unless you're making money directly and you understand what your cost per acquisition is, your lifetime value is, then you can say, okay, I'll spend on advertising. But until you can figure those things out, you got to find smarter ways to market. So I ended up selling that business. I ended up doing loads of things between that. By the way, I had a franchise. I built a franchise for a takeaway service, called it McAbdul's, which was a take on McDonald's, obviously. But it was basically it gathered so much attention because nobody just has the guts to do something ballsy. So it was literally red background, yellow text, and it said McAbdul's on it. And people would just slam their brakes in front of the place and oh my God, look at this place. Take a picture of it. And just they will take a picture, they will share it on socials. And here was the interesting thing is I thought, okay, now that we've got all this attention, we're going to keep on riding this PR wave because I did it with the internet service. Let me do it with this again. So then I love buying gadgets. So when the Segway first came out, I actually bought a Segway. And we told the press that we deliver our takeaways on a Segway because we're basically a zero emission business. We don't like to deliver by car, we deliver by Segway. So what do all the papers do? Amazing. This is, by the way, it's illegal to deliver on a Segway. It's illegal to even ride a Segway. but I didn't, if I said to somebody else, I'll put that out, they'll be like, well, you're going to get arrested because it's illegal. You can't ride a Segway. I'm like, well, who cares? I'm not riding it, but you create the story. So we pushed it out. And we're covered by so many newspapers saying, "Oh, look at this takeaway. They're delivering on a Segway," and it's like me riding on a red-colored Ferrari type Segway on the picture. And again, it skyrocketed. And then I thought, okay, how do I now capitalize on the publicity? Because you can't just get publicity and then forget about it. You have to ride on that wave. So I then turned it into a franchise. So by the way, now that you've seen us do it, franchise the business, and then I was charging between £25,000 and £50,000, which is up $60,000 per franchise for people to launch in other cities, the same thing. And then that made money, and then I ended up selling that business. But again, everything kind of stems onto learnings from previous businesses. And obviously, like the PosterBooking launched 4 years ago, about 4.5 years ago now, PosterBooking. Again, that's for the first year and a half, it made no money. Like $10 it made for the first year. But like my business partner was like a little bit like, wow, like we should be making a lot more money. It's like, you know what, just give it some time. And here's like, and look, every single business has one thing about it that makes it successful, and that is a secret sauce or an advantage. So you can't, it's very difficult to look at a business and say, you know what, I'm going to copy that, and it's going to be I'm going to have the same level of success. You won't. You really won't, because there's something that drives this that isn't visible to you immediately. So, for example, PosterBooking.com, which is basically digital signage for restaurants and takeaways and shopping malls, airports. We do US military and all sorts. We went to Reddit, and we saw that there was a Reddit group called Digital Signage, and all the vendors were there, the people were there, and you can see like people were complaining about somebody's services, and that vendor wasn't there. So we thought, how do we, without being so obvious that we want to sell you our service, how do we help these people? So we started doing the support for all our competitors. So we started helping. When someone says, "Oh, I've got a problem with this," so we would say, "Okay, now do this, click on this, click on that. Here's a screenshot. Here's how to fix the problem." And you know, if you can't get it working, and you can't get the support from this business, then you know we've got a similar platform, does the same thing, and it's free. And here was the thing, like, well, somebody's paying for something and they're not getting the support, and here's something that's completely free, and I'm getting the level of support. So we then didn't just set up support in Reddit to go and help all these people. We then set up WhatsApp groups and said, look, come on, join the WhatsApp group. Like, come on, join. Like, everyone's got WhatsApp. Come on, join the WhatsApp group. 24 hours a day. Let us know if you need help with whoever you're using. And that drove people in. And then the second thing was, okay, you know, you don't have to use us, but you can use our support anytime. So we're available 24/7 to support you for our competitors' product. And this really, I think, cheesed some of the competitors off, because they're like, well, you can't say this and you can't do that. These are our clients. So, well, if you're not helping them, we're happy to help them. So we actually, by the way, we ended up creating guides for our competitors' services. So how to use, I don't want to mention the name because he's going to get angry if he finds the video.
Of course.
So we were like, how to use our competitor's name. And so in the middle of the video, like it tells you how to use their services. And it says in the middle of the video, by the way, but if you can't use it and you're having difficulty, then you could just use PosterBooking. Like it's easier. So because nobody's looking for us. And if you want to ride on somebody else's keyword, you can't just bid on their keyword. I mean, you can technically bid on a keyword that doesn't appear, but then you're spending money on marketing. But if you start, I mean, YouTube is a medium where videos are, once they're on there, they're there for life. It doesn't cost you anything. You know, if you say, you know, how to use Canva, well, someone goes, you know, how to 1 hour guide on being the best at Canva in 2024, and then suddenly partway through, or the first 2 minutes, like, you know what, this is Canva, this is great for X, Y, and Z, but there's some limitations here, and if you find that you need these features, go and use our product, and it's completely free. Because when you start helping somebody, your positioning changes. Your positioning goes to somebody who is an educator, who is an advisor, who's a confidant, who's somebody there to catch you when you fall. And people will be willing to pay you. And here's what happened with PosterBooking. People will say, look, you don't charge for it. Can I just pay you something? We offer you some money for something? And we thought, you know what? People are wanting, because they don't want us to disappear. So then we added like premium services, basic services, professional, you know, services. And like now, for example, I mean, our biggest plan, I think, is $590 per month. Then we have a middle one, which is a popular one. And again, here's in marketing is you don't have to tell people which is your actual popular one. It's the one that you want people to sign up to. Like if you go to Wix and it says most popular, it's not the most popular. The most popular one is the one that people are paying $6 for, not the one that people pay $22 for. This is the one that people want you to sign up for because it's a price point that would make them a great amount of money after they've distributed the cost for supporting and they have their economies of scale. So this is what they'd like you to support, sign up to. But yeah, so PosterBooking grew in a lot of guerrilla marketing. And again, similar, we had about 20 or 30 different Facebook groups we would continuously post on. And we were so cheeky because when we didn't have any customers, we thought, how do we sell something to somebody when we don't have customers and we don't have pictures and videos of customers with our screens in their takeaway? So instead of saying, this is our screen and our software, whenever we went to a restaurant or a takeaway or a shopping mall, we'd take a video of a screen in that location and we'll say, this is what you can do with PosterBooking. Not this is PosterBooking, this is what you can do with it. So we then use literally wherever we went, make a video, post it and say, if you need, to be able to display your menus or advertising on digital signage screens like this, then use PosterBooking. and wording is critically important. And I'll tell you why wording matters, because one difference in word can either get you in a lot of trouble or it can make you skyrocket your business. So actually in between this, we had a cosmetic business and we sold like $2 million worth of cosmetics. And the way we did this, we emulated marketing from this oil called bio oil. If you ever heard of bio oil, it's an oil that women apply, and it's supposed to psychologically, it's supposed to heal your stretch marks. So, but unless you are in cosmetics, unless you have proven something works using in vitro or in vivo testing, you can't make a claim because your claim can be seen as medicinal. So So cosmetics are purely surface changes that can be wiped off. Then you have medicinal. So the industry created something called a cosmeceutical, which doesn't fall in any place. It doesn't fall in any sector. Cosmeceutical is just a psychological positioning. So somebody created this cosmeceutical called bio oil, which basically is supposed to give you medicinal effects, but they couldn't make the claim. So here's the word that they use. Instead of saying helps reduce stretch marks, they've put helps improve the appearance of stretch marks. And this is such a critical line. Helps improve the appearance of stretch marks. What is it actually saying? Or does it make your stretch marks appear more prominent? It's not. It's a psychological change. So when someone reads it, it must help improve. It means it reduces it, but they can't say reduce. So not in marketing, every single word matters massively. What you say that gets people to want to sign up to your product. And by the way, there's an amazing book. It's called Brain Training by Psychotactics. And Psychotactics, Sean D'Souza is the author. It's remarkable, absolutely remarkable strategies for creating headlines, because the first thing when we build a website is I've seen the most horrific and non-effectual, non-exciting headlines ever that people use, and they waste all the people going to the website and then they do nothing with it, and it's cost you a click cost or a time cost or an energy cost somewhere to bring people in. And then when you don't say something that gets their attention, you've disserviced. So the way I see it in marketing is you disservice that person. You disservice that person because now they're going to go and get conned with a third-party service they have to go and sign up to because you didn't sell them well enough. And the second thing is you've disserviced yourself because now you're not generating the revenues and you're not enjoying the fruits of your labor, and your family's not enjoying the fruits of your labor, and your children don't get to go to better colleges, and your family doesn't get to live in a better neighborhood. So what have you done? Your headline has much more greater impact than what you think it does. It's impacting your life. It's impacting your client's, potential client's life, because now you've allowed that person to go somewhere and be disserviced and conned because you didn't take the effort and the energy and the education it requires to build a compelling headline so that at least you can give somebody the best chance to deal with a product that you've built and you've nurtured and you've cared for that they want to use, and you know that you're the best in the marketplace. So don't disservice people by creating ineffectual headlines and landing pages.
Well, I want to go back to freemium for a second. So freemium is a really interesting business model. Some people love it, some people hate it. You seem to be very pro freemium, or at least getting things out into the wild so that people can start using them, so that you can iterate and refine and improve it from then on. But when does it make sense to adopt a freemium model, and what are some of the dangers perhaps of adopting it in the wrong way?
Look, the way I see freemium is an avenue to take the barriers of entry, because every single time you want to do something or deal with something, there's a barrier of entry. The barrier of entry could be somebody you asking, for example, barriers of entry, username, enter your first name, your last name, your email, confirm your email, choose a password, confirm your password, make sure your password is 15 characters long, has uppercase and lowercase and that's a barrier to entry. Because you're killing the ability for someone to want to use your services. Second thing is, unless your product is really, really wanted, like some people are dying for it, there's a queue outside. You're the Hermes or the Gucci of the industry. If you can close your doors and lock them, and they'll still be banging your doors to get inside. If you ever walk past an Hermes store, you'll see there's a row of people. There's nobody inside. It's the desire of wanting to be inside this store. It's they create. Unless you are that person in the industry, then you need to find a way to get people to use it. Okay, and I don't see a danger in freemium at all, because what you do in your marketing, freemium does not need to be forever. I'll tell you what. By the way, I want to tell stories because I think it sticks in people's minds. So if you ever heard about DIN DNS, so I used to do support, and we used to install DIN DNS on people's computers so that we can VNC, which means that we can remote control them from a long distance. I didn't want to drive to that customer's client's offices. I can remote control them. So we used to use what's called, it's a temporary host name for a dynamic IP address. It saved me hours and hours and hours of traveling, because I can just remote control, access that person's machine, help them, because there was no log me in at that time. There was no, these services didn't exist. So we had to use the DIN DNS and WinVNC. DIN DNS was a free service. I was like, wow, what an amazingly free service. So I set it up for all my clients. And then suddenly DIN DNS sends me an email about 6 months in, probably because they've had thousands of signups. Like, guys, we're sorry, we're going to have to start charging you, I think it was like $8.99, $9 per month. Because in 2 weeks, the service will no longer be available for free. So obviously my heart sunk, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm saving hundreds of hours in travel and costs. So before it came to an end, I paid for it straight away. I was like, I need DIN DNS. And when I signed up, welcome, we're going to give you these host names and we're going to give you this premium package and blah, blah, blah. And here is the interesting thing is, when it came to I think the 15th of August, it was a horrifically important date for me, because everything going to go down or continue working for me. And then I realized they're like, I went to the website again and the free plan was still there. So I'm like I was a little bit annoyed, but I thought, well, I've got the premium package now, and I need the extra services, and they've given me all these extra things, and I've used their services. It's only $9 a month. I'll just continue using it. I didn't want to, create a new account, set everything up again. It's just too painful, because human laziness doesn't allow you to do this. So it's just $9. Continue. So nothing has to be permanent. It's all about, can I try the freemium? Does it work in terms of acquisition? If I have acquired people, are they using it? If they're using it, will they be willing to pay for it? And here's the thing, in marketing and in business, if you ask somebody the question, will you be willing to pay for it? I will guarantee you will get the wrong answer. You will get the wrong answer, and you will have a false sense of expectation that, you know what, wow, like 80% of people said they're going to pay for it. I will tell you, it's not going to be anywhere near 80%. It's going to be like 5% if you're lucky, because people are, well, I don't really need it this month. I can live with it out without for now. You have to figure out, what can I do to compel people to want to pay me for it? Compel them. Either you deliver massive results, or you even tell them it's no longer available anymore. That's the true test of whether somebody needs you. What you can ask the question, hey, if we disappeared in 2 weeks, would you be upset? And people are like, yeah, no, 80% won't respond. Maybe you'll enforce that question on your platform when they log in. But I'll tell you right now, when you have more than 2 checkboxes, nobody checks what they're clicking. Like, get the hell out of my way. Like, click, 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 click. Yes, yes, accept. Like, YouTube had this thing where, how did you find this video? Blah, blah. I'm like, just where's that damn skip button, right? Where's that damn skip button? You're not collecting meaningful data. The only way for people to vote for what you want is by paying for it if you have a chargeable service. So, hey, you're not so popular that the whole world is watching you. And when you make a mistake, it's going to, look, it's going to go viral. I'm going to lose my reputation. The whole world's going to say, don't use this service. No, you're not that popular. As much as you'd like to think you're not that popular. You have to do things that deliver exceptional value to people, but you have to try things to be able to make sure that, am I getting rewarded for what I've built? Because you can absolutely leave it completely free for a long, long time. But then if somebody really needs your service and you want to continue this thing, you can do what some companies do. Oh, not enough people paid for it and we shut it down. Like, at least you could have told us before you shut it down, because I would have paid for it if you told me I had to pay for it. Don't just shut it down. Don't just walk away. Don't just go. So it's incumbent on you. It's a duty for you as a SaaS business owner to figure out, will people pay for it? And you sometimes have to be brutal in your approach and say, by the way, this is now a paid only service. And you let people decide and make a difficult decision that, are we willing to lose people temporarily or permanently that are not willing to pay? And then you have to ask yourself, what am I actually losing if the people who weren't going to pay anyway now stop using the service? So what have you lost? So I think people overthink that if I give it for free, then I can't change anything, and the people are going to be angry and they're going to be sad, or they are going to be sad. But if you suddenly go away, I think they'll be even more sad. So allow the people to vote for you using their cards and checks and PayPal and crypto and whatever you want to charge them. Allow them to do this. But for you to be able to get a real result and a real understanding is, you have to be so brutal. Not brutal may be the wrong word, but you have to be much more creative in your approach. But you have to communicate things in a way which makes people understand your position. So tell them the reasons why. Say, hey guys, we've been launching this, we're running for 6 months, and our costs go up, and it may become unsustainable for us to continue. So we're going to be shutting down our free service, and we're going to be charging this nominal amount. If you want to continue, here's the link, go on, sign up, tell them when they sign up. And be bold and be dangerous and be daring to be able to shut down those registrations for your freemium for 2 months as you see the conversion rates happening. And then after 2 months, you can say, you know what, either we screwed up massively and that didn't work because nobody wanted it. Okay, that means your service isn't valuable enough. So that means if you then continued for another 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, you're still not going to convert people. So you're failing fast here. And you do that when you have a certain amount of traction. You don't do it, I've got 5 customers, bang, I'm going to force them to pay. Let people get to the few hundreds, maybe even get to the thousands. Then see signups versus usage versus people talking to you and messaging you, ask them questions. And when you get to a point and you figure out, okay, if I were to be able to get 10% of the users signing up, am I going to be making $2, $3, $5, $10,000 per month? Is that going to allow me to quit my job and run a sustainable SaaS startup? If it is, okay, you could, do something in that interim period to be able to change this. But remember, your job at the beginning is Get people on there. Get people on. Like if you're not this service that everyone's dying for and falling over for and queuing up for that they want it, then your job is to make it so valuable that they want to use it. Offer it unlimited for everything. Because like one guy's like, oh, if I offer unlimited, then nobody will ever pay. Am I saying offer it forever, unlimited for everybody? No. Like maybe the first month, maybe 2 months, maybe 6 months. And even if you've told people that we're going to try our best to make it free forever, but hey, if it means closing your business down or taking $2 a month from them, tell them, request it, make them want to sign up. We did a lot of these different things with PosterBooking, and we managed to get to, wow, last year we were doing just below $12,000 per month in revenues. Last month we did $115,000, $112,000 in revenues. And it's the exact same way. It's the exact same methodology. In June last year, we said, by the way, there's no more free plan. And now, if you have a restaurants and takeaways and with your screens plastered with our software, can we at least ask for $1 a day for us to save you $100 a day? Can we at least ask you for that? And we put various marketing methods and messages in place. And look, absolutely, some people got upset. Some people said, we're never going to use you again. I'm like, okay. And look, we weren't bitter about it. When somebody said they will never use us again, we told them, look, if you want to continue using your screens, then here are 3 of our competitors. You can try using them. If you get stuck, we will help you migrate your account to one of those services. If you get stuck, we will help you. I'll tell you right now, like more than half of them, more than 60% of them stayed. Because they were like, well, he's helping us leave. Oh my goodness, like if we move and then that person doesn't help us, then we're going to be in a worse position. So would I not just pay $1 a day? And then we started comparing it to coffee. It's cheaper than a coffee per day. If you go to a restaurant, it's cheaper than a coffee per day. And if you use USB sticks, it's going to cost you time and money. So again, you have to give compelling reasons, but you have to allow people to want to use your services. But you have to make decisions, difficult decisions that could make or break your business. But remember, you can't break something forever. It's very difficult. If something went completely wrong and it was in national news and don't use these people, and just change your name. Just change the name of the product and launch again. So it's not like you're so popular that this is it now. It's the end. No, you have to test. And it means that sometimes you've got to do things that are a little bit unconventional. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to squeeze the most out of the people that are getting tremendous advantage from your product. And then we were like, okay, let's add these premium services. Let's increase the price for in this section and reduce it in this section. So when you publish the news, say, hey, we've put the prices down here, but we've had to reduce it here. So how do you do this? You look at the most popular service, you increase the price of the popular service, and you decrease the price of the unpopular service. So your revenue impact is maximized. If 1,000 people, you increase it by $10, you've made another $10,000. But this service, only 10 people are using it, and we've reduced it by 50%, but you're only losing $50 per month. You're losing $50 to gain 10,000. And that plays into the PR narrative. PosterBooking slashes prices by 50%.
Okay.
So
even though
a different service which is most popular has increased, but the thing is, we don't increase to a level where it's unsustainable. And again, pricing is critical. Don't price something based on what it costs you. Price it based on the value that you deliver. So you're giving tremendous value to somebody's business. Then it costs us $1 a month to deliver this thing. Actually, no. What is it? What am I saving in terms of costs and opportunity? I'm giving your business, and I'm saving in terms of time. And price it based on that. But remember, at the beginning your job is to bring people on, to talk to them. And freemium is the best way to do that. And look, even right now, if you offer something for free, people still won't take it. So it's hard enough to sell something. Why would you add more barriers to entry by adding all the friction points and then saying, well, for example, another friction point is, please verify your email. Like, oh my God. Why are you asking someone to verify their email? Let them use it. If they then want to pay for it, they want to increase something, they want to blah, 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 just make sure you put a banner on there. Make sure this is the correct email. They're not children, you know, type your email, verify your email, then you put you hide their email, so you hide their passwords. You can't even see the password. I'm like, did I type the right password twice? Show them the damn password. Show them the password. Or even better, give them a password. Just use a fruit, a color, and 3 numbers and say your password is red tomato 123, and it's done. And auto-generate those and give it to people. The less you make people think when you onboard them, they're much more likely to use your services. So as soon as you say you have to now perform all these actions and verify your email and enter your card details and confirm that you are this, does it matter? Not in day one. Your day one activity is, can I get people just to at least visit my website or product or download and start using it? Massive barrier. This is a huge step.
Are there any marketing channels that you tend to recommend for SaaS founders, especially if they're fairly early stage or doing, say, less than $1 million a year in revenue?
Look, you have to use every single channel that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. So, for example, we would get look at our competitors' Twitter following, and we would we'll connect with everybody in their Twitter who's following them, and try and connect with them, message them. We'd look at their LinkedIn and say, when they post, who is commenting and who is liking? Your competitors are continually giving away their clients. They're continually giving you, by the way, this person uses it, this person uses it, this person uses it, because when they post on all their socials, all the people that are commenting and liking and sharing are highly likely to be their clients. So find where your competitors' clients are and get to them as quickly as possible and offer them something compelling. I mean, I've sent tens of thousands, I feel like LinkedIn messages to people. I look at them, get the list. And by the way, there's a tremendous amount of tools you can use to automate this. So for example, you can use Octoparse. You can use LinkedIn Helper. You can use Phantom Buster. You can use, there's an unlimited number of tools you can use to get to people. So growth hacking is critical. So first job is find where your customers are, and where your customers are is where your competitors are. So we then asked, a publication that was in our industry, hey, do you want interviews? We'll tell you about our startup story. They put the interview out there, podcast, audio, written piece, free, great marketing, gives them content, gives us exposure to the marketplace. We continuously post on various channels and we connect continuously with our competitors. So find all the places that are free. You use Reddit. Reddit is an amazing source. For example, you're launching a graphic design program. By the way, we launched another platform called fastshop.ai, which is basically like Shopify, but it's basically for people who just don't have the time to be able to customize all the options Shopify gives you. It creates an e-commerce cart for you in 6 seconds. And the way we grew that was we just went to all the Shopify groups in Reddit, e-commerce groups in Reddit, and we didn't say use our service. Because if you say use our service, everyone's like, well, nope, it's crap. It's, stop spamming. So they say, stop spamming, stop advertising, no spamming. So this is what we did. We said, hey guys, I've just built a store on this platform called fastshop.ai. I want to migrate my products to Shopify. You see the difference in the question. If you say, I want to migrate away from Shopify, all the staunch supporters of Shopify will say, why do you want to move away? Blah, blah, blah. He's a traitor. So we changed the question. We flipped it. We're saying, hey, we've got this store in Fast Shop, but it's really basic. And it's it's only for beginners and it's free, so it can't be that good. Right? So you just marketed it without marketing it. And then he said, I just want to move these products from my store to my Shopify. How can I do that? So what do people do? Like, oh, what's the web address? What's the platform? Is there an export functionality? I'm like, I don't know. Have a look at it. It's fastshop.ai.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. And then we get all these signups coming in. Like, oh, this is great. Like this sets you up a merchant account, a crypto account. When it creates the products for you, it pulls you off Instagram. So we had I mean, we launched it not too long ago. We had 651 signups on it, but you just leave it. It doesn't cost anything to run it. It costs you like a $10 DigitalOcean server to continue running it. Let it run. But when you market, don't talk about your product. Because if you do, then it's seen as suspicious. What you do is you tell a story. Story is a great way of selling what you do. So find all the places, every single place. Look at Quora, look at Instagram, look at every single social channel that you can find. Look at the forums that are dedicated to that industry. Look at Pinterest, look at LinkedIn, look at the groups on these platforms. You can scrape email addresses from Instagram profiles for potential clients. If, for example, you're selling a product to fitness people, you can do a search for, you can use various platforms. You can probably use Octoparser, and you can find all the email addresses you can use. For Twitter, you can use tweetscraper.io, tweetscraper.com. It'll take email addresses, and then you can use things like Instantly to send out emails to all these people. You can use Lemlist. There's various platforms available. You can even use a Gmail account. Like, nobody cares if you they don't have their own domain name. Nobody cares if you have a domain name or not have a domain name. Just get the message to the people in the most compelling, most trustworthy, least pushy way, and give them the ability to enjoy what you're giving them in the fastest way possible. So go to those places that are free first and foremost. Then you can find, once you've done that, you get a gauging and understanding of who are the people that like what we're building. Is it doctors? Is it business people? Is it marketers? Because sometimes you build a product, you push it out there, and you think there's a type of industry that you're going after. Suddenly, it's actually someone different. So find out about your customers once you acquire them. Then find where more of those are. I'll tell you what, I had a restaurant about 15 years ago. And we were marketing everywhere. We were dropping leaflets and menus and radio ads and newspaper ads and all these things. So I said, let's figure out where these people are coming from. We had a banner outside the restaurant. We were on a main road. So I created this little feedback survey at the end of their meal. And if they were to fill it in, they'll get a free drink. My partners were like, no one's going to fill this comprehensive survey out. Nobody cares. I said, you know what? Everybody wants something for nothing. You give them a free drink, they will fill out everything you ask them. So I told them like your name, your date of birth, your age, your gender, your anniversary, the seating, the lighting, the music, everything basically. I asked them, how did you hear about us? And then I found that the $1,500 radio ad brought in 2 clients, 2 diners. That's $750 per acquisition, but nobody looked at this before. And then we found actually the free newspaper, which was about $600 or $700, brought in a handful of clients, and it was like a $15, $20 acquisition. Then the paid newspaper actually quadrupled the client acquisition, because the people who paid for their paper read every single page slowly just to get the maximum value out of their dollar cost of buying this newspaper. So that was one. I was like, so the paid paper drives more clients to you. And then, which was the most unexpected one, was the people who saw the banner on the outside of the restaurant while they were running past, jogging past, walking past, and driving past. And I thought, that was more than 80% of all the people. And we were marketing all far and wide, 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles away. And they were found that more than 90% are within a 1 mile radius. And then here's more interesting information. The average, 70% of the clients were female. The average age was 42.5. And more than 80% were married. So why are we marketing to everybody in every medium when we should be finding where those women are? So then we did a promotion, and we got all the local salons and hairdressers and clothing shops to give people a membership card, which gave them a permanent 10% off where all the women were. The revenues quadrupled overnight.
I love that.
Because instead of spending money where people are not, where people and where your customers are not, is find exactly where they are. Exactly. Because there is a specific type of person who is engaging with you and has a specific type of need, and you are solving it knowingly or unknowingly. And your job is to figure out whose problem am I solving. I find more of those people.
So you've already talked about a whole lot of tools and books and resources. Are there any other tools and books and resources that you would recommend to other SaaS founders?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, absolutely. There's tools are coming out all the time. Look, you want to be making sure that you leverage everything to do with AI, because it just makes your job a lot easier. But the tools is really marketing tools, growth hacking tools, communication tools, mass messaging tools that you need to leverage. And you have to learn. Look, regardless of if you're a technical founder, you have to learn to market, because marketing is what drives clients to you. And look, there's a tremendous number of books. I mean, there's Dan Kennedy's books, which are remarkable in terms of generating great content for landing pages and sales. It's very, very old, like it's very old school. But these are all the modern marketers actually go back to the principles taught by Dan Kennedy, Gary Halbert, Carl Galetti, Jay Abraham, and all these veterans in the marketing industry. So look at some of their books, and some critical understanding is when you're scaling, is there's authors called Al Ries and Jack Trout. They have a book called Positioning the Battle for the Mind, and that is a remarkable read or a listen if you're on YouTube. But they have great content to make you understand that once you've started, you have to position yourself.